I'm just going to introduce Dr. Taynes really quickly. Dr. Taynes is an world-known scholar and has actually traveled the world and has worked in healthcare and public health information technology for, we'll say, a number of years for large oriented impact organizations that include Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Kaiser Permanente, Molina Healthcare, TenCare, University of Texas Medical Branch. She's also worked with the University of Georgia and has also worked with Morehouse School of Medicine. Is a leader in this space of health technology and telehealth, and has really doing some important work in terms of thinking about movement building as we think about global public health and future possibilities, particularly with the intersections of technology. It's a pleasure to work with you, Danika. Danika and I are also friends, and we go back to Tufts University where I used to work, so it's a pleasure to be with you again. Thank you for being here, Danika.
Thank you. So, as Dr. Coleman shared, I'm Dr. Taynes, and you can also call me Danika. So my heritage is from the Bahamas, and we say Bahamian. It's not Bohemian, but I do like that style too. And as a self-proclaimed tech geek, I study systems, and I study the diffusion of innovation. And recently I've launched a foundation where I'm investing in early stage entrepreneurs and emerging economies starting in Uganda. And one of the things that I found very, very rapidly is about the ingenuity of your age group. The young people are our hope, our future. And so one of the reasons that we came up with this particular workshop is we said, well, Derek came to me and he says, the students want to talk about corruption. They want a real opportunity to have an Africa where they can actually thrive and have a chance to succeed. But how do they do that? What can we help converse about? What dialogue can we have? And I said, Derek, one thing I've learned about students and young people is you don't want to tell them what to do. And so you've gotten a huge amount of information today, and that was on purpose. It was to give you a level set of information from these extraordinary speakers. What a fantastic, fantastic setup to give you the information that you need to tackle the problem. So that's what we're going to do. In the workshop that's coming up, we are going to ask you to actually brainstorm, to think larger than where we are, to think about what type of Africa you would like to see. And for these reasons, we would want you to dig deep. Now, by a show of hands, how many people here in the audience feel that right now, and be honest, you have a chance to impact corruption in Africa? You personally. There's a few people, okay? And there are not too many students that said that. So good. So when we come back from the workshop, my hope is that those hands will all be up, because you all will be dialoguing, thinking differently about the challenges that we have, and we'll organize that appropriately for you. That will all be facilitated. So we're kind of passing the baton. This was a little bit of a setup. So we have these amazing speakers, but guess who's not going to be the ones to lead the charge for the next 50 years? Right. Who is it? So, right, a nice little setup, wasn't that great? And so here we are. You're armed with the information you need. You know what the challenges are. Does it feel overwhelming? By a show of hands, does the challenge of corruption feel overwhelming? Yes? Yes, it feels overwhelming. Okay, I love this because people come to me all the time in my work in Uganda and they say, what problem are you solving? Are you solving food insecurity? Are you solving maternal and child health? And I have to pause and think about that and go, okay, there's a lot that goes into maternal and child health. And as a matter of fact, that could be food insecurity. So how do you tease apart what problem we're really trying to solve? And so the idea is we don't do all of it. The idea is we break it down into bite-sized chunks, and that's where we start. So what I say to all of the change makers I work with, all of my students, all of my mentees, and I want to lay that out here for you today, and if you take nothing else away, please take this, is that you can write your own story. And that's what we're going to do in the workshop. You can write your own personal story, and then the only job you have to do is live by that story. Show up and be that story every day. And so we're going to break down how to do that. One of the things, though, that I want to draw attention to, and Derek and I also had this conversation, was this is a heavy conversation. I mean, I don't know about you, but it just kind of does some disservice to my body because it conflicts with my values. And so it's heavy. And you go, oh, it's heavy, it's overwhelming. You know, gosh, let me just sit down. I don't even know where to start. So what we're going to do is we're going to start right now. So I'd like for all of you to please close your eyes. Okay? And do one thing and just take stock of your body. Just feel your body. Get nice and into it. See if anything's uncomfortable. Is your heart beating fast? Do you have any anxiety? Do you have a pain in your shoulder? Just kind of notice. And then take a deep, cleansing breath in. And then out. Do that one more time. And out. Now keep your eyes closed. Just check back in. There's nothing that you have to do except be your authentic self. You have permission today to be that person. Okay, let's open our eyes. Does anybody feel a little bit more serene? Yeah, a little chilled out. I see somebody doesn't want to come back. Yeah, okay, so that took 2 minutes. So when you're having these tough conversations, and they're tough, they are tough. When you're having these conversations, you can take 2 minutes. Get in your body, calm it down, start over, and show up and live in the story. All right. So I think that we have Palesa on the line. How do we bring Palesa up?
Hi, everyone. Can you see me?
Yeah. Oh, we can't see you, but we can hear you.
Okay. I'm not sure if can probably just access the rights, but without wasting any more time, thank you so much, Danika, for leading that mindfulness session and for reminding us to be our authentic and best selves. I think for us, the most important thing and what we really wanted to get from this session was the fact that advocacy in itself is not linear. and that there are many ways in which we could become advocates for the continent. And again, when we look at this, you can look at it in a way that works for you. So we thought about what are the ways in which we could encapsulate these movements. And we looked at 3 broad terms, specifically at grassroots action, dialogues, and policy implementation. Now, each thematic area really addresses the competing interests within a society and really asks people, yourselves, even the youth of the continent and in the diaspora, to elevate ourselves out of our immediate self-interests to address some of these challenges. So what does it mean, right? Because I'm saying a whole lot, but really what does it mean? So for grassroots action, we're looking at addressing the sort of immediate issues within the community. So these are, I don't have food in the household, and therefore linking you with an NGO that provides food parcels for those who can. But this also requires a partnering, right, with local communities and NGOs and even community leaders. So when solving a problem, sometimes you need to go into the grassroots in order for you to be able to make the real movement and the real impact that you like in a society. But you can't just stop there, because then we also then have to go into the dialogues. And the dialogues really form part of the more strategic partnerships and really the high-level institutional partners for most communities that we would consider ourselves in. So, for example, you would likely leverage an NPO or even a company that supplies food for that specific community to request for a longer-term solution as it relates to that. But it also can't just stop there, because these strategic partners, while they do have the scale and impact to make sure that your movement does go across, it also becomes very difficult because they don't have the actual power and the political will, in fact, to make these changes. So then we also looked at policy, because what is any movement without government intervention? And so the final point of the project is that when you think about how you want to make change with any community, you have to have support from institutional partners such as the government in order for them to provide you with constructive commentary as it relates to how you actually make this change. And even to implement much larger and bigger scale change, as we have seen with many of the social movements across the continent. I think of the Arab Spring in 2011, I think of NSARS in Nigeria, and also think about the Fees Must Fall in South Africa, where I am currently. But again, all of this is not cut in stone. So all of you sitting there are now, tasked with making a change within the continent. And I think with as little conflict as possible, which sometimes is very difficult to do when you're leading a social movement, but it's necessary to have conflict, because that's when we actually encourage each other and we encourage ourselves to think outside the box and again, elevate ourselves outside of our immediate self-interest. So I just want to bring to your attention that the workshop session will actually be facilitated by graduate students who I believe are currently in the room. I just want to, I know that they probably are there. So if Abdullahi could stand up and just show himself, Oguchi and Noah, so that they also know who you are and the fact that you'll be facilitating the session. But again, because we are young, and because we now look at social movements using social media, we want to make you utilize social media as a way of envisioning or providing you vision for the continent. So we've come up with a hashtag, which is called Vision for Africa. So we're hoping that you'll share it across the social media platforms, ask difficult questions to your followers about what is your vision for Africa as you look at these various thematics. So looking at grassroots movements, your dialogues, and as well as the policy sessions, and also what do people need to do and our African leaders need to do in order for us to make any effective change across the continent. So have fun, ask difficult questions, engage each other, and I look forward to hearing the feedback from the team. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Palesa. Really appreciate you. Okay, so to get us in the mood, before we break out into the workshop, please take out a pen, piece of paper, just 2 minutes. Or your phone, if you are one of those people who doesn't use pens and papers. All right, and so here's a quick exercise to get us thinking creatively. So write down in just the next minute or so as many unconventional uses for empty glass bottles that you can think of. All right. Now, does anybody want to share something that they find is maybe a little unique? Let's get some ideas.
Hello again, yeah. So an item I had is, you ever did an enema? You ever did an enema? So this can be like the enema bag. The glass could be the enema bag. Why you laugh? Thank you.
Anyone else that can top the enema bag?
We can definitely make a raft out of bottles, but many of them. And I've seen one. It's amazing.
A raft with glass bottles. Who else? I see it. Okay, come.
I have a couple. Okay. So a flower vase. Sorry. A flower vase, a glass boat, a stand, art, and a looking glass.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I guess this is based on experience that I've seen. So for security, where you break the glasses and then you put it on top of fences, and that's something. Yeah. And then another one, music. So either blowing or banging on the glasses.
Gotcha. We got security bars.
So how you can make lights from it. You can grind it down and make like tiles or use it to make a mosaic. You can use it as a piggy bank, or you can use it to massage your body as well.
So this type of creativity is what we're talking about. Dr. Coleman opened up today by saying that, what did you say? I lost my train of thought. I don't know. That's okay. It's not meant to be. So this kind of creativity is what we're talking about. We don't want to repeat that which we've done already. That's the definition of insanity. So when we're talking about enema bags, that's a completely new use for something that's already been here for a very long time. And what we're not doing here is we're not trying to repeat the same things. Oh, this is what you said, is that corruption is like, we have to question, why is it here? Why? There's actually, like, judging it is not the answer. Bad corruption. Is it? I've been corrupt before to make my life easier. I've paid off a cop so that I could get let go and not be in harm's way. So was that bad? I'm safe. I'm standing here. Was it bad? So I don't think we can judge it, but we can think much bigger than it. And that's what I think we're going to launch in today.